number 29, Jared Mitchell. Batting third baseman, number 6, Hector Gomez.
Well, it may have felt that the High Point Rockers might have let one slip away yesterday, but there is a buzz here tonight at BB&T Point as the Rockers look to snap their 3-game skid against the New Britain Bees. Good evening, I'm Kendrick Fruits, along with Kevin McMahon here at BB&T Point. It's the Rockers, it's the Bees, it's the end of a 6-game homestand before High Point hits the road and heads to Sugarland tomorrow. So let's go ahead and start with that game yesterday. It was the morning game, and the Rockers looked good all the way up until the very end.
Absolutely did. It's pretty shocking and disappointing when you lose a game in the fashion that the Rockers did, and they just are facing a Bees team, and I'm going to use a quick little spoiler. Quincy Lattimore described them as their kryptonite, a team that they've had a tough time against. As we brought up earlier in this series, the Rockers have one win against the Bees in the second half, and I believe this is like their 6th or 7th game against them. So that just shows you the kind of success the Bees have had. And yesterday it was a Jones home run that was the difference maker for the Bees. It came in a 3-2 count with 2 outs. It was a 3-run shot that was able to change the game for Jared James there.
Jason Rogers hit the home run.
Jason Rogers,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But no, you're absolutely right. And, not only have they been kryptonite a little bit for the Rockers, but we've talked about it a couple times. The Bees always seem to rise to the occasion when they play one of the top teams in the Atlantic League, but then sometimes they turn around and lose some of the games that you think they probably should win. So they're one of those pesky teams this year that can get you if you don't take them seriously. And the Rockers have certainly been taking them seriously, but I feel like, all things considered, the Rockers have been playing A- baseball in this series. It's just the Bees have been playing A+ ball.
And we'll talk about it more when we get closer to the game in the pregame show, but today feels important. Today feels special. Today feels like a game that the Rockers really want to have. They got quite the series coming up against Sugarland, especially when you couple that with not only is it an important due to the standings and because of the kind of team that Sugarland is, but you think about that plane ride they have to take, the commute that you have to make to Texas on top of everything. So the Rockers really want this one. If they don't win this game, they've been swept by the New Britain Bees.
Yeah, and absolutely, that's something that nobody here wants to see. But one good thing for the Rockers, it looks like their offense is still firing on all cylinders, so to speak. Maybe they've left a couple of guys out there on the bases a few times. They've had a couple opportunities they didn't capitalize on. But for the most part, this is an offense that's looking pretty good right now. They did it with the long ball yesterday. Shaffer had a pair. Cardulo had one. Gomez had one Lattimore had one the day before. So they're doing a really good job offensively. They're displaying their power. They're flexing their muscle. We had a chance to sit down with some of that muscle, Quincy Lattimore, before the game today to kind of get his thoughts on the offense, where the team stands as they go to make their playoff push, and what to expect tonight against the New Britain Bees. So here is our conversation earlier today with Quincy Lattimore.
Kevin McMahon and Kendrick Fruits here with Quincy Lattimore. And Quincy, we want to start this interview the same way we started Richie Shaffer's. We were talking about who's going to get the 21st, and the answer was Richie Shaffer, was you. You actually stole his thunder there. So how's that make you feel?
We had talked about it a little bit amongst ourselves, and of course, everybody wants to be the first one to it, and luckily I did do it. And a couple at bats later, he ended up getting 20, and I told him, well, I still did it first, and we just joked about it. But Richie can leave the park at any time. When he steps into the box, it's never surprising me. It's a home run. I like to feel the same way about myself, but he's a little stronger than me. Like he can hit the ball out of the park to all fields, and it's definitely a big plus to have him in that lineup.
And you and I were talking earlier off the air, but you were saying, 20 is an important number for you when it comes to home runs because, you've been around that part before, but your power's always been a part of your game, but 20 is always special, right, when it comes to hitting 20 home runs.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I have 21 now in the season. I hit one when I was in Mexico, so that's the most I've ever hit in a regular season. I hit 20. 2015, and I had some home runs in the playoffs, but they don't count as far as regular season. So that year I hit 23. So it'd be nice to try to get 3 or 4 more and hopefully beat that. 25 would be nice. That's probably what I'm shooting for now. So 4 more, it'd be 5 more for this league, but for the total of the season, 4 more would get me to 25. So that'd be nice.
Quincy, the offense has scored a decent amount of runs the last 2 games. Unfortunately, weren't able to come away with the win in either one, but it just feels like, especially against this pitching staff, you guys are so close to erupting for a huge game. Do you guys feel that in the dugout as well?
Oh, yeah. The thing about this team is they just seem to be our kryptonite, honestly. I mean, this whole season they've pretty much taken care of us. I think we've beat them 3 or 4 times, if that. But, it hadn't been because we hadn't hit. We just lost a lot of late inning games to them. Even in New Britain, the trip we just came from when we were up there last, we'd be winning the game 5-6 innings, and somehow we just find a way, and it just slips away from us the 7th, 8th, and 9th. But as far as that bats goes, I think we're definitely getting to where we want to be going into this final stretch of the season. Got some guys stepping up, getting some big hits where earlier we kind of wasn't getting them, but now they're starting to come through and build some confidence. So going into this playoff push, I like where we are.
And I guess that's in the big picture, right? Thinking about the playoffs, and we're less than a month away. I think only after today's game, 10 more home games in the regular season. So let's start there. What's your mentality going into the playoffs right now? How do you feel? Like, you kind of gave a little answer there, but overall, how do you feel with where the team is as you guys are trying to make the first playoff appearance in Rockers history?
I like where we are. I like the guys we have. I think we could add a piece or 2 more, and I know a lot of teams are going to do the same thing. Like I said, with some of the other leagues finishing up, I'm pretty sure, maybe another arm or 2 would be nice for the bullpen. You get to this point of the year, and guys are tired. I mean, you've been throwing all year, so hopefully, we add a piece or 2 to really keep it rolling. And like I said, I like how we're swinging the bats, and I said I'll put our offense against any team, even York. I mean, they have stupid numbers, but and we played them really well. I think we've won every series against them but one, I believe, and I think that's when I was going to Mexico. But every season, every series we played them, when I've been here, we've taken care of business with them. So I would think that's who we would play out of that division. I don't really feel too strongly about Sugar Land. I think we played them really well too. But I like where we are. 1 through 9. Pretty solid. Like I said, another arm or 2, I think we'll be right where we need to be.
Last question for me, Quincy. I was looking at some of your numbers yesterday, and I saw something that stood out. 30 of your 62 RBIs this year have come with 2 outs. What is it about your approach that allows you to be so dangerous in clutch situations like that?
I've always, it's just something that I've always been pretty good at. 2-out RBIs and just men in scoring position in general, I hit a lot better. Guys not on base, my batting average is normally 60, 80 points lower than it is when guys are in scoring position. I guess it's just a focus thing, man. Knowing I'm in the middle of the lineup to bring guys in, I just take a lot of pride in doing it. I kind of had a little off couple weeks here the last few weeks, and starting back to get it to going how I kind of was going. And normally, man, if it's a man on second, I felt like I was going to get him in, and for a while there I just kind of wasn't getting it done. And I wouldn't say I had any pressure to do it. It just baseball, man. Just had a little slump going for about 7-8 days, and luckily I'm out of it now, and hopefully I'll pick back up. I still would like to end the season with 75. I think I can do that. That's 13 more, so I think I can get that done. I think so.
And last question for me as well. A little 2-parter here. So earlier this week we had your buddy Giovanni Alfonso on the broadcast, and he was one of our analysts. I don't know if you got to hear him, so we'd like, if you have any critiques of his performance, if you got to hear him. Oh, and the second part is, in that same spirit, we'll let you put on your analyst hat here. What's the key that the Rockers need to do tonight to get a big win against the B-side with Van Meter on the mound?
When we get the lead, we have to come back out and get a 0. Like a lot of times, we score runs, we get 2 or 3, we come back, we'll give them 1. Or, we have to get 0 innings. Shutdown innings is what we call them. And it's just crucial. When you score, you got to come back, get a shutdown inning. And if we're able to do that, then we should be all right. I mean, I don't think we're going to have any problems scoring runs. I mean, like I said, we're swinging the bats really good. So now it's just going to be, keeping them from scoring. As I said, they got a few guys that's pretty hot right now in their lineup. And we got to try to keep them off balance as much as we can. And hopefully, if they are doing damage, it's with nobody on base. Yesterday, we got caught with guys on base whenever, so that's what sucked. So keeping those guys that can hurt us right now, hopefully keeping them a little bit off of balance and getting shut down innings will be the key, I think.
Well, Quincy, thanks for giving us some time and good luck today. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
That was our conversation with Quincy Lattimore earlier today. And Kevin, I want to harp on something that he mentioned there in that last question when we talked about what the Rockers needed to do today. And the first thing he mentioned was the fact that this is a team in the Bees that will hit home runs. So you want to, if you're going to give up home runs, do it when there's nobody on base, which the Rockers were able to do more the past couple of days, except for yesterday. Yesterday hurt them. There were guys on base when the big blows came off of the bat of the Bees.
And I think it also goes back to what he said, like you said, about posting that zero. And the Rockers almost did it in that ninth inning. I think that's one that's they're gonna think about. Giving up a 3-run home run, 3-2 count. 2 outs. You're 1 strike away. You're 1 out away. And what if? And then let me be clear: the Rockers are still in a great spot. If the Rockers win that game yesterday, they're a game apiece here and going for their 3rd series win in a row. That opportunity was snapped yesterday was taken away from them as their series win streak was snapped. They're unable to win the series here tonight, but they're able to split. I'm sorry, they're able. The Bees have won the series, but they're able to pick up a game here, and I think that tonight is so important. You got a great pitcher in Joe Van Meter. I think, all the guys on the rotation, he's one of the guys who's been here the longest, and so you know what you're going to get from Joe Van Meter. And Kendrick, help me out here with this, with what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But I've been listening to a lot of Michael Kay, who's back on the radio, so of course we want to welcome him back. But he always says, he always takes people to task when they say this is a must-win game. Did you do it yet? Really? Do you have to win it? Are you going to stop living if you don't win it? It's a must-win. Because the Rockers season continues and it's August. But this is a game, maybe not a must-win, but this is a game they really, really need. And on top of that, I always talk about moments, about how earlier last week when Ryan Kelly had 2 saves against the York Revolution, against the 2 of the best hitters in the league, that was a moment. I think if the Rockers have a night where they hit a lot, they have a couple home runs, they have some hits, they score a little bit, and then they get a great start from Joe Van Meter. I think tonight and you beat the Bees, who have been giving you a hard time today. You set the record straight of that. The Rockers are still for real and very much still in control. I think that's a moment tonight, because this is a team that needs a little something. And you and I were at batting practice and walking around. These guys are laser focused and ready to go, as they always are. But they're ready to play tonight. They were looking forward to being able to get back on the field today. This feels like a game that the Rockers can take it. Momentum might swing their way and follow them all the way to Texas and hopefully help them in the Sugarland Series as well.
Yeah, maybe no such thing as a must-win game, but this is the equivalent of, let's say, a kid who wants a new bike for Christmas and they're telling their parents every hour, I'd really like to have that bike. Well, you know what? I'd really like to win this ball game. So absolutely. But the Rockers have just the guy on the mound to do it in the form of Joe Van Meter today. 7-4, 2.76 ERA for Joe, and coming off a solid start over the weekend, maybe not his best stuff, but he kept the team in it, and he was competitive and gave the Rockers a chance to win that game, which they ended up doing, I believe, on Saturday. So, if there's a guy you want to snap the losing streak, this is the guy who you want to have on the mound. And one of the biggest things is to keep the offense going, which, again, they scored a lot yesterday. They had a lot of guys on base. Same thing the day before. So, it's just about putting everything together because it feels like they've been so close. Just a couple of things didn't quite match up and go together. And let's see if they can put everything together tonight.
And on the other side of what I said, that this is a game that you really like to have, this is a game the Bees really want because if they win, they sweep the series. We talked about coming in, what a big deal that'd be if the Bees could sweep the series. If you're the Rockers, you want to try to get this win and make sure that doesn't take place. So it's going to be a big one, a great one here tonight at BB&T Point. I'm really looking forward to it.
Lots riding on this game, as it will on every game from now to the end of the regular season. As we get set for the national anthem, we'll send it down to the field. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the lineups. First pitch, baseball, next. Rockers looking to snap their 3-game skid, trying to avoid a 4-game skid, which would be the longest losing streak they've had this year. They had a 4-game earlier this year, so this would tie it. But anyways, we're hoping to not really even have to get into those numbers, and we'll take a look at the starting lineup here for the New Britain Bees as we get set for the conclusion of this series. Darren Ford leading off, playing center field. Ryan Jackson will bat second. He's the shortstop tonight. Jason Rogers, the 3-run home run yesterday, the game winner in the ninth, will bat third and play first base. Mike Karp, the designated hitter, the former Seattle Mariner and Boston Red Sox, will bat cleanup. Jonathan Galvez, the second baseman, hits fifth. Jared James in left field bats sixth. Zach Collier in right field will bat seventh. Logan Moore, the catcher, hits eighth. And Rando Moreno, the third baseman, will bat in the number 9 spot. On the mound for the Rockers, it's Joe Van Meter, 7-4, 2.76 ERA. And we talk about Lattimore and Shaffer joining the 20 home run club. Well, Joe Van Meter joins the 20 club tonight, making his 20th start of the year, the first Rocker to do so. 94 strikeouts in 111 innings, 22 walks, so he shows fantastic control and a whip of an even 1.00. So the Rockers have a good one on the mound today.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to talk about at the beginning of the pregame show here. Joe Van Meter, a guy who the Rockers have been able to call on a lot as he's been on this team for a while, I think on the original roster. And, his 20th start, a guy that the Rockers have really trusted with the ball in big moments. And let's be clear, they're giving him the ball here in another big moment. They would love for him to come through in a big spot as the Rockers look to take a game away from the Bees. Once again, the Bees sweep the series with a win here tonight, so it's so important, and we'll talk about the standings later, but it's so important the Rockers win tonight if they can.
So stepping in, as he has to lead off the last couple of games, Darren Ford. And Joe Van Meter ready to go. Here's the first pitch, swing and a strike. And we're underway here, count nothing and 1 to Ford. Kind of some difficult visuals today, and Ford shows bunt and misses, count nothing and 2. But I say difficult visuals in the sense that we've been used to playing in cloud cover for the last couple of days, and all of a sudden we've got clear skies and a sunset today.
One of the clearest days I've ever seen in BB&T Point.
Van Meter, the 0-2 fastball, just missing down low, was looking for the put-out pitch. Oh, he got it. Strike 3. I didn't see a call at first, but it's a 3-pitch strikeout for Joe Van Meter, a quick start.
What a way to get started if you're Joe Van Meter. You get that first out, a big strikeout there.
That'll bring up Ryan Jackson, the shortstop. 261, 2 home runs, and 27 driven in. First pitch to Jackson misses for a ball. Game time temperature, 81 degrees. It'll drop down to 73 by the time we are finished. And again, clear skies tonight. There's a strike, 1-1.
That's so important. We talk about getting ahead in the count for pitchers. We talked about it yesterday in the show, especially of how important that was going to be for Purnell. And
the 1-1 swung on and lofted high into shallow right field. Coming in and making the catch is the Rocker right fielder Jared Mitchell for out number 2.
2 big outs for the Rockers, and let's go ahead and meet who else is out there for the Rockers on defense. It's Quincy Lattimore in left field, Miles Schroeder in center, the man who just made the catch, Jared Mitchell out there in right field, Hector Gomez at third base, Michael Russell at shortstop, Steven Cardulo at second, Richie Shaffer at first base, who his Clemson Tigers playing a little football tonight, and Matt Jones behind the plate.
First pitch to Jason Rogers will miss away, ball 1. Rogers, we just mentioned, with that game-winning home run yesterday. Not a walk-off, but a game-winning home run. And he takes for a strike, 1-1. So his .304 average, 12 home runs, 81 RBIs. We mentioned he's second in the league in RBIs, one of the most dangerous hitters in the Atlantic League, and Van Meter gets him to pop it up in the infield. The third baseman Gomez calling for it and makes the catch. So it's a 1-2-3 first for Joe Van Meter. We'll go to the second. This is High Point Rockers baseball.
Has hosted Viviendo una Vida en Balance here at Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you can come back and check my show, Viviendo una Vida en Balance, where we talk about life hacks to live a life in balance. And this show's in Spanish. A new show comes out every Monday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and share with your friends. Again, thank you for checking out the following broadcast in Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys,
This is Keith.
and Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcasts on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten here on Public House Media. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Rewritten, where we will talk about you having limitless potential and can rewrite your story at any time. No matter your background, your past, or current situation, you can have the type of life you crave. A new show comes out every single Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Rewritten. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Bottom of the first inning in a scoreless game here at BB&T Point. The Rockers send Steven Cardulo to the plate first. He'll be followed by Jared Mitchell, Hector Gomez, Quincy Lattimore, Richie Shaffer, Vio Sergi Rosa, Michael Russell, Miles Schroeder, and Matt Jones. The first pitch to Steven Cardulo is down low. That pitch delivered by David Roseboom. 2-1 this year, 11th appearance, 8th start. 40 strikeouts and 37 innings, a 3.38 earned run average as Cardulo fouls this one off, count 1-1. So a solid year for Roseboom. Started the year in Binghamton, Double-A in the New York Mets organization, was promoted for a brief time to Syracuse, but has spent the majority of the year here in New Britain. Here's the 1-1 to Cardulo, swing and a miss in the count 1-2. Cardulo, 19 home runs, knocking on the door to becoming the third High Point Rocker to join the 20 home run club.
We could see it today.
2 days in a row, he's just missed one to the left of the foul pole as he swings and hits this one up in the air to shallow right field. Racing over and making a nice catch there, battling the sun, is Zach Collier. Let's go ahead and set the defensive alignment for the New Britain Bees.
That was a really nice catch there by Collier on the run. Let's do that. We got James out there in left field, Ford in center, Zach Collier in right, Rando Moreno at third, Jackson at shortstop, Galvez at second base, Rogers at first, Moore behind the plate.
There's Jared Mitchell, had a triple the other night, Tuesday night. And here's the pitch from Roseboom, inside, ball one. Mitchell, 248 hitter, 8 home runs, 41 driven in. He does not lead the Rockers in stolen bases, but among all players on the Rockers in terms of stolen bases, he is first, as this one's hit out into center field for out number 2. And if that's confusing, it's because he spent most of his time this year with the Sugarland Skeeters, and that's where he accumulated most of his stolen bases. Here's Hector Gomez, one of the Rockers' best hitters in the month of August.
Well, 2 pitchers who are having pretty good nights so far. 2 quick outs here for Roseboom. 2 outs, only 6 pitches.
Gomez was caught stealing twice yesterday, so we'll see how adventurous he is on the base path should he reach. First pitch to Gomez will miss for ball 1.
And if you're Gomez, you might like to take a few pitches here and try to work Roseboom a little bit. He has not had to work at all, really, so far.
Gomez picking on this one, though, lines it into left field. It'll drop down in front of James for a base hit. So a 2-out single for Hector Gomez, and the Rockers continue the first inning with their first hit of the ball game, and that'll bring up Quincy Lattimore.
You asked a great question today to Quincy Lattimore about, you brought up his stats about how he is very successful hitting with 2 strikes, and he seemed pretty excited when you brought that up to him, and, kind of felt like, he's like, yeah, every time I go up there, that's what I'm trying to do. And he's a guy who's swinging a good bat right now. 20 home runs, 62 RBIs, 261 average. That one coming out near him there for a ball, 1-0. He has a man on here, so a chance for the Rockers to strike first here with 2 outs.
Roseboom comes set. Holds it for quite a while. Runner goes. Here's the pitch. The throw down to second. In time, Hector Gomez has been caught stealing 3 times in the last 2 days. As he's standing over there at second, he thinks that he got around the tag.
That was pretty close.
Was very close, but we'll go ahead and step aside, and we'll clean anything up that needs to be cleaned up when we come back. Top of the second, next, no score.
This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, The Cheap Seats, where we talk about sports from the fans' perspective. A new show comes out every Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Cheap Seats. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Kim Meyer, the host of Choose to Rise here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Choose to Rise, where we talk about living with positive mindsets, how to increase our confidence, building our faith, and living out our life on purpose. A new show comes out via podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you want to catch the episode live instead, stop by Public House Media around 6:45 Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Choose to Rise. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay.
And this is Elizabeth, co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the second inning, Mike Karp steps in, a guy who has hit 2 home runs in 2 days against the Rockers. Joe Van Meter looking to reverse that. We're scoreless. And the first pitch is inside for a ball. Both pitchers have faced the minimum through the first inning. Although the Rockers did get a base hit. Hector Gomez was thrown out trying to steal. Carp swings, hits a fly ball into left center field. Lattimore having to go over and cover a lot of ground. Makes the catch there in shallow left center field, out number 1.
That's a great play by Quincy Lattimore. I talk about it all the time, but these are professional guys who make plays like that, and he came running in really fast, but he catches it on the run, and it looks pretty routine. That's a hard hit ball, and he made a really good play on it. Going back to Carp's stats of having 4 home runs so far, having 2 home runs in the last 2 days, that's so important.
First pitch popped up and hit into foul territory off the bat of Galvez. Hector Gomez in foul territory, going back and makes a nice catch, a difficult catch, as that ball was just hanging up there in the sunlight and finally dropped back down into the shade. Difficult play for Gomez, made a good catch.
Well, Joe Van Meter's working quick here, so I need to shrink my points down here, don't I? But, that's a good thing for the Rockers. Van Meter in really great shape here. He has 2 outs in the top of the second inning at 11 pitches.
Here's Jared James, 264 hitter with 3 home runs, 30 RBIs, and James knows that Van Meter's working quickly, so he takes the first pitch. It's down low for a ball.
This is when Meter is at his best.
Another one down low, 2-0.
When Van Meter can get, the quick outs and he can get into his motion quick and work fast, that's when he works best.
The 2-0 to James, again low, so it's 3 balls, no strikes here, as I would expect Jared James to be taking on this pitch.
This is an important at-bat here. James just took 3 pitches.
The 3-0, he was taken all the way. It's in there for a strike.
So in 3 pitches, Van Meter got 2 outs.
The 3-1 down low for ball 4, and so with 2 outs, there's a man aboard, first base runner for the Bees.
So Van Meter had 2 outs and 3 pitches. Jared James comes up and takes 5 pitches and gets a walk. That's something that might go under the radar later. That's a big deal. That takes Van Meter, who was cruising. He's still in really good shape, but now he has to deal with a man on first here, and he's got the pitch to Zach Collier with the man on.
Collier, a 242 hitter with 4 home runs, 11 driven in. And again, Van Meter misses down, 1-0. Collier, the number 7 hitter in the lineup. James takes his lead off of first base. He's got decent speed over there as Collier fouls this one off. Count is now 1-1. For the Bees this year, 6 stolen bases for James. He's only been caught once, so while he does not steal often, he steals with good success. He knows how to pick a good pitch. Here's the 1-1. That's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Van Meter comes set. Here's the 1-2. That one's hit high in the air, deep to right field. Going back is Mitchell at the track. Makes the catch for the final out of the inning. Collier hits it hard, but Mitchell puts it away for the final out. So we go to the bottom of the second. Still no score. This is High Point Rockers baseball.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay. And this is Elizabeth,
co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Service. And thank you to Cricket Wireless for sponsoring the Rockers.
This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Your Life Matters, where we talk about dreaming big and dreaming bold to reach your wildest dreams in both your health and your happiness. A new show comes out every single Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Your Life Matters. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Daniel Poppy, host of How to Write Good here on Public House Media. I just want to thank you for listening to the following broadcast brought to you by Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope that you'll come check out my show, How to Write Good, the writing show that is not about writing. A new show of How to Write Good comes up every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of How to Write Good. Again, thanks for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Bottom of the second inning, Quincy Lattimore steps back in. He'll get to start over with a fresh count after Hector Gomez caught stealing to end the first inning. So it'll be Lattimore and Shaffer and Rosa facing David Roseboom, and a big swing and a miss for Lattimore as he chased the pitch down, 0-1.
Of course, you wish that Hector Gomez made it over to second and Quincy could have got that chance to hit, as that one is in there for a strike as well. 0-2. But this maybe takes a little of the pressure off here with no outs and nobody on for Quincy.
Roseboom kicks and deals the 0-2. Quincy hits it on the ground to Jackson at shortstop. Taps the glove, throws on to first in time, so that'll retire Lattimore. And that'll bring up Richie Shaffer with 21 home runs on the year.
Number 8, Richie Shaffer.
This middle part of the Rockers lineup has been swinging a very good bat recently.
And Richie is hitting very well consistently. Had a big day yesterday, 2 home runs in one game.
First pitch to Shaffer, he shows bunt, would have fooled everybody, but he couldn't get it into fair territory, so the count 0-1. Had a sure base hit if he was able to lay that down the third base line.
And that's one that kind of hurts a little bit if you're Richie Shaffer, because like as you said, if that one gets down, that's a base hit all day. That would have caught everybody off guard, us included.
Now the corner's coming in a little bit, but Shaffer not showing bunt takes this one down in the turf 1-1.
They're still not playing that close to him on the corner. Randall Moreno's still pretty far back. His feet were in the grass last time, but I'd maybe go for it again if I'm Shaffer.
Here's the 1-1 to Shaffer. He is not showing bunt, and he takes for a ball 2-1. So now he's in a hitter's count, and he will get what I would assume would be a pretty decent pitch here. So I think they're going to let him swing the bat.
The bunt could be off the table now.
Roseboom, a high leg kick deals, and Shaffer swings and fouls this one back to the screen. I think he might have hurt his wrist a little bit, or his top hand came off of the bat, and you can see him shaking his hand out there as he doing a little doctoring to the bat now, or doing a little work on the handle of the bat.
Yeah, I think he almost lost it.
So grip slip for sure. It's never a good feeling when a hand unexpectedly comes off the bat. It's one thing for the guys that finish their swing with a one-handed finish, but in the middle of your swing, at the hardest part of your swing, it'll catch you off guard. Here's the 2-2, and it's down and in, so Shaffer has worked the count full here with one out in the bottom of the second. 22 home runs, 58 driven in, trying to be the fourth Rocker to 60. And he swings and hits this one high in the air to center field. Going back, looking up, and rockabye baseball over the batter's eye. Richie Shaffer with, I would say, probably one of, if not the furthest home run hit this year.
That one kept going, and he sent that with all the power he had in his bat. That one left the ballpark. How about that for Richie Shaffer? That'll get you going. That'll get you fired up here early in the game. Rockers lead 1-0, and they strike first.
Not only was that ball to straightaway center as the first pitch to Rosa misses for a ball, but it goes over the batter's eye. I'd love to get a figure on that.
And a fan just emerged from behind the batter's eye with his hand up and a baseball in hand. So I guess that ball just barely stayed in.
The count 2-0. And by stayed in, you mean stayed in the entire park.
Yeah, I thought that left the ballpark.
Here's the 2-0. Shaffer fouls this one off. And the count is 2-1. We're getting reports that baseball 430 feet in the neighborhood of that, so an absolute mammoth shot off of the bat of Shaffer as Rosa takes a strike 2-2. See how Roseboom responds. Here's the 2-2 to Rosa, rather. A little bit behind on it. Strike 3 for out number 2. So, yeah, early estimates of Shaffer's ball, 430 feet.
That one was hit very far, and if you're Roseboom, that's one, you try to forget, and he was able to respond with a strikeout.
First pitch to Michael Russell is a strike. Well, I tell you what, Roseboom might want to forget about it, but that's one we'll be talking about for a while.
Absolutely, and the Rockers are trying to use that as momentum to keep this thing going here.
The 0-1 to Russell is inside, backs him off the plate in the count 1-1.
1-1 count for Russell, a guy who is a good hitter, been at 300 basically all season long.
311 right now. 3 home runs, not a lot of home run power, but singles and doubles hitter extraordinaire. Here's the 1-1 to Russell, and he swings and misses 1-2.
A guy who knows how to get on base, makes the most of every opportunity he has at the plate.
Working quickly. Here's the 1-2, a swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning for David Roseboom, but not before Richie Shaffer with an absolute mammoth home run to the deepest part of the ballpark. Rockers lead 1-0, and we go to the top of the third.
This is Bryce Burge, host of Your Soccer Passport here on Public House Media. After this episode, come join us on a trip around the soccer world as we discuss club and country every Tuesday. Stamp your soccer passport by subscribing on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your Public House Media podcasts. And thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
What's up, everybody? This is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Press Row, where we talk about the biggest issues in sports with the analysts, experts, and reporters who cover them. No nonsense, hard-hitting interviews on the sports topics you're talking about. A new show comes out every single Thursday. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Press Row. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the third inning, Rockers with a 1-0 lead, giving Joe Van Meter something to work with here as he's going to deal with 8, 9, and 1. That's Logan Moore, Rando Moreno, and Darren Ford back to the top of the lineup. That 1-0 lead, courtesy of a solo shot off the bat of Richie Shaffer. extending his team lead to 2 now, 22 home runs. First pitch here to Moore, pops this one up into center field. Schroeder battling the sun, makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. It's a quick start to the third for Joe Van Meter.
And we've talked about how great Joe Van Meter has been all night long. Now you give him that Richie Shaffer home run. How hot has Richie Shaffer been, right? He has a 2 home run game yesterday. Had a home run the night before, I'm pretty sure, right? So that's 3 games with some home runs.
Showing bunt, pulling back, and it's not a strike because Rando Marino is Van Meter threw that one in at Van Meter threw that at Moreno's feet, I should say.
So Van Meter, somebody who was already looking very comfortable out there so far, has a lead to work with now.
Here's the 1-0, and that's going to stay down 2 balls, no strikes. Skeeters have a 1-0 lead early on the Revolution. Blue Crabs and Ducks, no score. Barnstormers and Patriots, no score. The 2-0 is a called strike to Rando Marino. He's a 202 hitter, 2 home runs, 27 driven in. And here is the pitch swung on, and I think he might have just got a piece of it. Fouled it right back to the catcher, though. The count 2-2. Van Meter continues to cruise through here in the early goings. Here's the pitch. This is popped up in the infield. The second baseman, Cardullo, the shortstop, Russell. It's going to be the shortstop, Michael Russell, making the catch for out number 2.
3 innings in, 25 pitches. Van Meter looking very sharp. Sometimes not getting in pitcher's counts, getting with those balls, but only 1 strikeout, which for him is a little bit different because we see him as a guy who can get those strikeouts. That single game strikeout record, his name is in there a lot, but he's getting for contact now and doing well.
First pitch to Ford, just missing. Was trying to go with fastball up. Ford is the lone strikeout victim for Van Meter today.
He started his day with a strikeout.
Swing and a miss there, count 1-1.
Man, Van Meter is working quick, and the defense stays sharp that way.
Absolutely. Less time to be standing around and thinking, and more time just to react. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He had Ford way out in front of that one. And the count 1-2 is Van Meter 1 strike away from another quick inning. You're on Dollar Beer Night here at BB&T Point. Last game of a 6-game homestand, but don't worry, we come back on Monday for a 4-game set against the Blue Crabs. Here's the pitch, swung on, and that's hit a couple of bounces over to Cardullo at second. The throw to first in time. So it's another 1-2-3 inning for Joe Van Meter, and we head to the bottom of the third. Rockers lead 1-0.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Liz Colburn, host of The Morning Uplift here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back and check out my show, The Morning Uplift, where we talk about finding your beauty in the journey. A new show comes out twice a month on the first and third Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Morning Uplift. Thank you again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Rachel Mullins, host of Hashtag No Filter Friday here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my new show, Hashtag No Filter Friday, where we talk about all of the sexual misconduct allegations swirling around Hollywood. A new show drops every Friday at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Hashtag No Filter Friday. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Jessica Hammer, co-host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out...
Bottom of the third inning, Rockers with a 1-0 lead. Miles Schroeder, Matt Jones, Steven Cardulo, the 3 scheduled hitters, as they look to snap a 3-game losing streak. Their longest this year is 4, and so they certainly would like to not tie that. Pitch down low to Schroeder is ball 1. And the 1-0 to Schroeder. He swings and picks on this one, fouls it off out onto the street, I would guess, over the third base side.
Took a step out in between innings, and the concourse is buzzing. A lot of people out there hanging out, enjoying a great night here at BB&T Point. It is a really, really nice night. Dollar beer night. So a great night to be at the ballpark.
Yeah, pleasant temperatures, good baseball, dollar beer night. Yeah, I mean, it's a win-win-win-win-win-win.
You sound like J-Rock over there.
Schroeder was, I believe, changing up his bat, getting a new bat. So he has just emerged from the dugout and ready to resume. 1 ball, 1 strike here. Here is the 1-1. He swings, lines this one right to Moreno, makes a nice catch on his knees for out number 1. A hard hit ball by Schroeder, but unfortunately too close to Rando Moreno.
Nice play by Moreno. If that gets through, that's going to be serious trouble. Miles Schroeder can maybe get a single or a double out of that. At least a single, maybe a little bit more. So great play by Moreno to bring that one in.
Here's Matt Jones, hit his 3rd home run of the year on Tuesday. 206 hitter now, 18 RBIs. And here's the pitch from Roseboom. That's down low. And the count 1-0. Roseboom working quickly. The 1-0 pitch is a called strike at the top of the zone, 1-1. The 1-1 just missing. It's 2 balls and a strike now. And talking about all the reasons the Rockers want to win this game, you've got a tough trip to Texas, a 3-game weekend trip. You got to play tomorrow. Then you fly back Monday, and you have an early game Monday, a 4 o'clock start time, as that one's up high, 3-1. So that's a tough spot to be in if you're the Rockers. So you certainly want to end this series on a high note, especially going into a difficult travel situation.
Yeah, not only do you play tomorrow, you play in Texas tomorrow. So it's a long trip.
Jones swinging on the 3-1 and fouls this one up over the first base side out of play. And the count is full.
And if you're wondering, Sugar Land, Texas is near the Gulf of Mexico. It's really close to Houston.
It's about 20 miles south of Houston, if I remember correctly. Southeast, I believe. Here's the 3-2, and this one's hit off the end of the bat towards third. Moreno to his left, fields it, throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. And that will bring up Steven Cardulo as Roseboom is retired 4 Rockers in a row following the Richie Shaffer home run. So he's working quickly and effectively. Cardulo flied out to right field in his first at-bat.
And other than that home run to Richie Shaffer, Roseboom's been looking really good. His numbers are very similar to Van Meter's 37 pitches.
This one's fouled off. Yeah, 77 pitches right now. You're in trouble.
Yeah,
something bad has happened in the first 2 innings.
It would not be a 1-0 game if that was the case. 37 pitches to Van Meter's 31, so very close, and he's an out away from getting out of this one.
The 0-1 to Cardulo picks this one down the line. It goes foul down the left field side. Thought for a moment we were about to have another possible home run situation down the left field line, but that one curled, obviously foul, and ended up falling short of the wall anyways.
Cardullo, he likes that side. If I'm the Bees, I'm playing a little bit closer to that spot. I mean, if he's been hitting that way.
They're shading him a little bit, not drastically, but Marino definitely a little closer to the line. And here's the 0-2. He swings, gets this one off the end of the bat, and pokes it into left field. A base hit in between Marino and the shortstop Jackson. Cardullo takes a wide turn, but retreats back to first base. So a 2-out base hit for Steven Cardullo, and the Rockers still alive here in the third.
How smart is Steven Cardullo? He sees that they're playing him close to the line, so he tries to put one. Obviously, you can't plan where you're going to put the baseball, but you can try to plan and try to pull it a little bit, and he put it perfectly between Moreno and Jackson, and they didn't have a play on it. And that's a 2-out single here for the High Point Rockers.
That'll bring up Jared Mitchell, flied out to center his first time up. Roseboom holding this set, looking at Cardullo, now deals first pitch down low ball 1 to Jared Mitchell. Rockers lead by a single run here in the third inning, but trying to capitalize with a runner on base. They've reached base every inning. Roseboom comes set at the belt and delivers to Mitchell again down low. So 2 balls, no strikes here to Jared Mitchell. As we'll take a look at the standings at the end of this inning here, and as you'll see, things are tightening up a little bit on both sides. Both divisions, I should say. Here's the 2-0 to Mitchell, and that's going to stay away. So 3 balls, no strikes. Rockers trying to make a little 2-out magic here in the third inning. Cardullo, the runner at first, he certainly would be a threat to run if he chose to do so. Doesn't really look like that's in the plan right now. And here's the 3-0. Taking all the way is Mitchell, and it's ball 4, so the Rockers have a man on first and second now, and it's Hector Gomez who singled his first time coming up to the plate.
And here you are in an early chance for some insurance. You have a 1-0 lead. Runners on first and second. Cardullo, who's got a ton of speed, in scoring position, and you have really clutch hitters coming up. Gomez, Lattimore, Shaffer. These are, if you can get guys on, if they can keep the inning going, they're in really good shape here.
Hector Gomez hitting just over 290s, the team leader in RBIs with 66. Runners take their leads off of first and second. Here's the pitch to Gomez. Inside, it gets away from Logan Moore, and heading over to third is Cardullo. Mitchell taking second behind him.
And that ball just missed going into the dugout. If that goes into the dugout, I don't know if that would move. It would have moved Cardullo in. So there's like some bats and things out there, so that might have slowed it down. It hit right off the wall, and that was a nice, a nice break for the Bees, because that would have moved the run in.
Looked like a wild pitch from Roseboom. So the count 1-0, and it makes life a little easier for Hector Gomez. His runners have moved up 90 feet. This one down low, and it's 2-0. Roseboom struggling a little with his control all of a sudden. Was really working quickly through the inning, but after 2 quick outs, a base hit and a walk, and now a 2-0 count to Gomez. Here is the 2-0. Taking all the way is Gomez. It's a strike, 2-1. Cardullo, the runner at third. Mitchell, the runner at second. Rockers with a 1-0 lead here in the third. As Roseboom steps off the rubber, needs to reset everything here. He comes set now. Here is the 2-1 to Gomez. The slide step down low. Good scoop by Logan Moore, keeping that in front of him. It's 3-1. Moore popped up and made sure that Cardullo retreated back to third.
And that one hit the turf like it was going to get loose and be an opportunity for Cardullo to come in. 3-1 count here. Lattimore on deck.
So David Roseboom, one bad one away from loading the bases, which is not a proposition you would like to have if you're the Bees with Lattimore and Shaffer coming up. Here's the 3-1. And Gomez takes ball 4, so the bases are now loaded with 2 outs. And the Rockers' best 2-out RBI guy, Quincy Lattimore, coming up.
Huge chance now for the Rockers. Bases loaded. Here comes the King. King Q and Kendrick Roseboom, You look at his count, and all of a sudden, it's shot way up. He's at 50 pitches now here in the bottom of the third. He was just at 35.
And because of his struggles with the strike zone, he's only throwing his strike about 50% of his pitches. Here's the first pitch to Lattimore, and he's going to take ball 1. There's nowhere to put Quincy, so a walk would bring in a run, would force in a run, as Roseboom is clearly struggling here in the third. He comes set, ready to deliver the 1-0 to Lattimore. Off-speed pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. Just trying to find something right now if you're Roseboom, trying to find something that you can get over the plate that you're comfortable throwing, and it looks like that off-speed pitch might be it. He comes set. Here's the 1-1 to Lattimore. A good take there, and the count 2-1 as that pitch was down. Yeah, you talk about all the fans. You can hear them all from in here, clapping and cheering, and they're getting into it. They were excited earlier, and when the Rockers had big opportunities, you can hear them getting into it. Here's the 2-1. He swings and drives. It's a line drive into left field. Does it have enough height? It doesn't for a home run, but it'll one-hop the fence for a ground rule double. And Quincy Lattimore has played it 2, and the Rockers now lead 3-0.
That's a huge hit by Quincy Lattimore. That one takes a Bees bounce over the wall. That one stays in. That's going to bring Hector home as well. But how about King Q coming through in the clutch with a huge hit? Kendrick, if they left this inning bases loaded, Roseboom's able to get out of the inning, and you don't cash in there, you don't take advantage, they would have felt like they left something on the table there. Now, if you're the Rockers, you still want to keep it going with Richie Shaffer at the plate, but you feel good. You're able to take advantage there and get 2 runs, a 3-0 lead for the Rockers.
Still a chance for more as Shaffer steps in. He's already got a home run today. And here's the pitch. He swings. As a home run swing, he fouls it off. And the count 0-1. But if nothing else, you've given Joe Van Meter a little bit more cushion now.
And Kendrick, I want to bring up something to you here. This is one of the best scoring teams in the Atlantic League in the New Britain Bees. They came back from they needed 3 runs and they got it in 1 swing.
Shaffer swings, pops this one a mile high into shallow right field. It's the second baseman, Galvez, calling for it. And does he catch it? He fell. Looks like he struggled with it in the sun, but he does make the catch. So Galvez turns a regular pop-up into an adventure, but he makes the catch, but not before Quincy Lattimore's 2-run double gives the Rockers a 3-0 lead. We're going to keep it here really quick and take a look at the standings. We talked about why this game is so important for both teams, and if you look at the standings, you'll see why. You see the Ducks ahead of the Rockers by a game or 2 games. You see there's a typo there. The Ducks are not 25-120. That would be one of the worst seasons I've ever seen. But they do come into today with 25 wins, 2 games over the High Point Rockers. The Bees, though, 3.5 behind. They're really charging ahead. You see just 2 games under 500, and they're right on the tails of the Rockers. If the Bees win this game, there's a half-game difference between New Britain and High Point, and that just shows you how tight it is and how well the Bees have been playing this month.
And that's where the Rockers, want to be careful. They want to try to keep themselves in a spot where they're right behind the the Ducks and or in front of the Ducks. We talked to Jamie Keefe early in the second half, and he said, we want the Rockers to win the second half. If we're unable to win the second half, we want the Ducks to do it so they get in wild card wise. And wild card wise, they're pretty set, right? They're pretty set to go. And we were talking about it today during batting practice. If it goes to wild card, pretty much every scenario you throw out there, the Rockers are in on wild card. If the Bees win this half, that changes everything, and then you're rooting for the Sugarland Skeeters to win the second half, and you're hoping you're above the York Revolution at that point. So the Bees are who the Rockers really have to worry about.
Yeah, the Revolution leading the Freedom Division by 2 games over Sugarland. And the last thing I want to point out on the standings as we get set to go here in the top of the fourth, look at the Somerset Patriots, 10 games under 500 in the second half, and just absolutely that nothing has gone the way that Somerset wanted it to in the second half as Van Meter's first pitch in here for a strike to Ryan Jackson. They were in wild card contention the whole way in the first half, and they've pretty much played themselves out of any chance of it now.
They were 2 games away from, is that one past Jackson there, he swings at it for a strike. They were 2 or 3 games away from winning the first half. If you remember, all 3 teams had a shot in that last first half series against the Patriots and the Rockers. Those were games where we were scoreboard watching.
Curveball swung on and fouled off, count 0-2. Yeah, the Patriots ended up finishing second in the first half.
Right.
But all 3 teams, I think, were separated by 2 games. That showed how tight it was.
Right, and so we were scoreboard watching, and there was a serious chance that if the Ducks lost and the Rockers and the Patriots were winning, that
the 0-2 swung on, hit on the ground. It's off of Van Meter's glove, and Cardula has to change directions. Picks it up and shovels it onto first. Good job there. Tough play for Cardullo as that one bounced off of Van Meter's glove, but stayed with it and made a great play.
That adds an extra level of difficulty there, but Cardullo, you can put him anywhere. We've seen him at right field. We've seen him in center field. We've seen him at first base. We've seen him at second base. I think he was at third base one time. He might pitch sometime later. Who knows? Anywhere you put him, he is ready to go. He is a great player. And just to put a bow on the Patriots thing, it's kind of hard to believe where they are now. Like we said, they were doing so well in the first half, finished second place.
Rogers, a hard hit ground ball, diving stop by Gomez, but he's not going to be able to make a play as it squirts out of his glove. So Jason Rogers will reach with a base hit, the first hit of the game for the New Britain Bees as Joe Van Meter had cruised hitless through the first 3 1/3 innings. But that one will be an infield base hit. Good effort by Hector Gomez. Just couldn't hang on to the baseball as Mike Karp comes up now.
And Gomez thought he had that one. You could see he was a little frustrated when that one got away from him.
Karp swings and hits a high fly ball to center. Back goes Schroeder, and he's got room. He'll make the catch for out number 2. That will bring up Jonathan Galvez. This is a very dangerous 3-4-5 in Rogers, Karp, and Galvez, but Van Meter's done a nice job with him as he's about to finish his second time through this portion of the lineup. And here's the pitch from Van Meter. It's a hard shot up the middle, base hit. And so the Bees keep things alive in the fourth with a 2-out single off the bat of Jonathan Galvez, and Jared James will come up, who walked his first time.
So 2 nice hits here. The one hit was close. Gomez tried to slide to it and almost made the play as that one just got away from him. But Galvez hits that one right up the middle after the pop fly by Karp. So the Bees with a chance here. Tying run at the plate, and Jared James for Van Meter. Just keep doing what you're doing. He tries to get another out here.
Rockers have given Van Meter 3 runs in the last 2 innings to work with, so certainly he's feeling a little more comfortable out there on the mound as that curveball stays up and in to the left-handed hitting James, and the count 1-0.
Rockers have 2 outs in the inning, so they are in control here.
Here's the 1-0. It's a fastball. That's fouled off, and the count is 1-1. Joe Van Meter has made very quick work of the Bees here as we're almost halfway through the game, about an hour in.
And we're already in the fourth inning.
Another fastball. This one's hit high in the air to left center field. Back goes Schroeder, racing back, makes a catch. A couple of steps in front of the wall. He was full sprint when he hauled that one in near the warning track. So a couple base hits for the Bees, but Joe Van Meter strands them where they stand. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Rockers lead 3-0.
This is Jenna Burt, host of the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Confessions of a Military Spouse, where we dig deep and talk about the unspoken hard truths of what it's really like to be a military spouse. A new show comes out bi-weekly. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Confessions of a Military Spouse. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
All right, Brandon, are you ready?
Hi, this is Peggy Rojas, host of Viviendo una Vida en Balance here at Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you can come back and check my show, Viviendo una Vida en Balance, where we talk about life hacks to live a life in balance. And this show's in Spanish. A new show comes out every Monday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and share with your friends. Again, thank you for checking out the following broadcast in Public House Media. Hi, this is Peggy Rojas, host of Viviendo una Vida en Balance here at Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you can come back and check my show, Viviendo una Vida en Balance, where we talk about life hacks to live a life in balance. And this show's in Spanish. A new show comes out every Monday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and share with your friends. Again, thank you for checking out the following broadcast in Public House Media.
Bottom of the third inning, Rockers with a 3-0 lead over the New Britain Bees in the series finale. Vio Sergi Rosa, the designated hitter, leads off. Michael Russell and Miles Schroeder to follow. Rosa struck out his first time up, and he swings and skies this one a mile high in foul territory down the first base line. It's going to be Rogers making a catch. It ends up being one step in fair territory, so it's a good thing he made that catch. And down goes Rosa, one pitch, one out here in the fourth. That'll bring up Michael Russell. He struck out his first time. Roseboom looking to bounce back after a rough third inning in which he ended up loading the bases with 2 outs as the pitch to Russell down low, ball 1.
And that was a quick out to Vio Sergi Rosa, I think, on the first or second pitch there. First pitch, I think it was, that he gets Vio Sergi Rosa to foul out there. And that's the kind of at-bats he needs.
Russell hits this one, a high chopper on the ground to third. Moreno picks it up, the throw on to first in time. So 3 pitches to record the first 2 outs of the inning. And that'll bring up Miles Schroeder, who lined out to third his first time up. That was a tough line drive in Schroeder's first at-bat. He hit a scorcher, but right to Moreno. Roseboom at 58 pitches here in the fourth inning.
This would be a great inning for him, especially count-wise, to keep him in.
Schroeder taking, and he takes a strike, and the count 0-1. He's hitting .245 right now, 8 home runs, 42 driven in.
We have seen a fair amount of the Bees bullpen this week.
He swings and hits this one into left field. That's a base hit. He got robbed his first time, but would not be denied here in round 2 as Miles Schroeder with a single to keep things going for the number 9 man, Matt Jones.
We've seen a lot of the bullpen this week, week for the Bees. And so if they could get a longer start from Roseboom, that would be great. But how about this hit by Miles Schroeder? You said it, that had that one taken away from him last time and reaches this time with a single. He's swinging a good bat.
Brings up Matt Jones. Grounded out to third, his first at-bat. And the slide step from Roseboom. Here's a chopper to third. Moreno picks it up. Has to double clutch. He's going to throw on to first on a hop. Good scoop there by Rogers to get Matt Jones at first as Moreno fumbled the handle of it and had to go the long way across the diamond, but he does so to retire the Rockers in the fourth. We go to the top of the fifth inning. Rockers lead 3-0.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys,
This is Keith.
and Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcasts on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten, here on Public House Media. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Rewritten, where we will talk about you having limitless potential and can rewrite your story at any time. No matter your background, your past, or current situation, you can have the type of life you crave. A new show comes out every single Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Rewritten. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, The Cheap Seats, where we talk about sports from the fans' perspective. A new show comes out every Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Cheap Seats. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the fifth, bottom of the lineup for the New Britain Bees. Collier, Moore, and Moreno, the three scheduled hitters, against Joe Van Meter, who's needed only 42 pitches to get through 4 innings. He's just absolutely been masterful tonight. Not a strikeout pitcher tonight necessarily, but he's hitting his spots and pitching to contact, and the Rockers defense is doing the job behind him. First pitch here, swung on, and that's popped up in the infield. Shortstop Michael Russell drifting back now and makes the catch in the grass for out number 1. And yet again, 1 pitch, 1 out for Joe Van Meter. And he's gotten a lot of those tonight, and it's really helping prolong his evening.
When you talk about the importance of having Van Meter go long, there's a trip to Texas coming up here for the High Point Rockers. They are playing Sugarland tomorrow in Sugarland, Texas. So a long night for Joe Van Meter would be a great thing for the Rockers, and they are in a great shape for that 3-0 lead.
First pitch to Moore, a called strike. More good news for the Rockers, although
nice.
What?
Logan Moore, more good news.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's bad if I do that. I apologize. Here's the 0-1 to Moore, and that's a strike, 0-2. But continuing that thought, he's not in the lineup tonight, but Giovanni Alfonso has been activated off of the injured list, so we should see him in that Sugarland series. So it's great to get that piece of the lineup back, as this one's bunted foul and off the screen. And remember, you do get 1 extra bunt attempt, or 1 extra strike, I guess, or however I don't know what the actual wording is. If you foul one off at 0-2 and it's a bunt, you get to go again one more time.
Yeah, a foul bunt does not count as a strike with 2 outs. It counts as a regular fouled off ball.
But only one time. If you
only once.
If you do it again,
yeah. it would be an out.
Here's the 0-2 curveball. He waits on it and hits it in the air to left field. Lattimore drifting over to his left and makes the catch for out number 2. I don't know why it took me so long to come up with the wording there. But there's quickly 2 outs here in the 5th inning for Rando Moreno. A 202 hitter, 27 driven in. And Van Meter deals swing and a miss. We're glad you're spending your evening here with baseball on a night that I know is big with football. The final preseason games all across the NFL tonight. Big NCAA action tonight as that pitch misses inside.
National champs going at it tonight.
Absolutely, they are.
Richie Shaffer's Clemson Tigers.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. That game just about to get started here in less than half an hour. Couple other big ones today, big guns anyways, going off. Texas A&M plays later today as well. This one's popped up and out of play. Count 1-2.
Oh, Jimbo Fisher and them boys.
They play, I think, Texas State in the Sun Belt. Here's the 1-2 from Van Meter. It's a curveball, and he didn't get the call. Everybody on the Rockers in the field thought that was strike 3. But they did not get the call on a good-looking curve, and the count 2-2.
And the High Point Rockers felt good about that one.
Here's a 2-2. He goes back with a fastball, and this one's laced into right field. Mitchell dives, and it gets past him. This could be trouble. Moreno is rounding second. He's heading to third. He will make it to third easily. There will not be a throw. And so Van Meter was 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. The Rockers thought they had strike 3, but it was called a ball, and Moreno lines the next pitch into right field for a triple.
Well, you know what? If you get another opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. You got to find an opportunity to try to change what's going on in this game, and Rando Moreno does just that. He takes full advantage, seizes the opportunity, hits a triple, and Kendrick, I think you'll agree with me, that's the best hit ball for the Bees all night long.
Absolutely, and it was almost a fantastic play in right field for Jared Mitchell. Just missed getting to it, though. That'll bring up Darren Ford. He is 0 for 2 tonight. And Van Meter comes set, deals first pitch to Ford, shows bunt, pulls back, and it's a called strike nonetheless, so the count 0-1. Lights starting to come on here at BB&T Point as the field is in shadow now, as this one knee-high, strike 2. Although the sun bouncing off of the High Point skyline, the steeple off in the distance, and some of the other buildings in downtown area, and just glad to see a nice evening here at the ballpark after all the rain that we've had. Here's the 0-2. That's down low in the count 1-2. Although I should mention, we're definitely thinking about the people in the Florida area right now as Hurricane Dorian is bearing down on them. In fact, the Gulf Coast League, the rookie level in affiliated baseball, they have canceled the remainder of their season. Today was the last day of games, so they've canceled their entire postseason in preparation of the hurricane. As that pitch down and away 2-2 now to Darren Ford. So the way I understand it, their division winners, including the Orioles and the Phillies, and I think maybe the Red Sox, but I don't remember, are recognized as division winners, and they're all, I think, co-champions in effect. But we're definitely thinking of everybody down there as they prepare for what looks like a nasty storm. Speaking of nasty, though, strike 3, Van Meter blows that fastball by Darren Ford, and the 2-out triple by Rando Moreno turns out to not be a threat. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Rockers lead 3-0.
This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, The Cheap Seats, where we talk about sports from the fans' perspective. A new show comes out every Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Cheap Seats. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
And on your mark, get set.
This is Kim Meyer, the host of Choose to Rise here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Choose to Rise, where we talk about living with positive mindsets, how to increase our confidence, building our faith, and living out our life on purpose. A new show comes out via podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you want to catch the episode live instead, stop by Public House Media around 6:45 Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Choose to Rise. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay. And this is Elizabeth,
co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Second baseman, number 65, Stephen Cardulo.
Bottom of the fifth inning, Rockers lead 3-0. It's the top of the lineup here doing battle against David Rosenboom. And Cardulo swings, hits this one high in the air down to left field. Losing his hat is James. He goes into foul territory and makes the catch for out number one. So Cardulo is retired first pitch, and that'll bring up Jared Mitchell.
Nice play there by James, and here we are in the bottom of the fifth inning. And, you know, say what you want about the job being done here by the Bees, but Rosenboom is keeping it close. You know, it's I know it's a 3-0 game, but he's getting quick outs now. He had that one inning.
Mitchell rips this one foul,
where his count went up and he got into a little bit of trouble. He's kept it a 3-run game. He's got a team that can hit and score. And if he can go, you know, where are we, fifth? I think if you can get one more inning out of him, you'd feel really good. You obviously, you wish the 3 runs wouldn't have come across, but you're still close.
Here's the 0-1 to Mitchell. And he takes down low. 1 ball, 1 strike now.
Now, on the other side of that, if you're the Rockers, you got to take advantage of having him still in the game and try to get a few more runs.
Here's the 1-1, and that is a called strike 1 and 2. Well, one thing, if you're the Rockers, Jim Fuller's pitched 2 days in a row, so at least you don't have to see him today.
Well, I was just going to say, on Friday night, we saw the Rockers having some success against Randy Lara. Then we saw him come out of the game, and when we got to the bullpen, and they were lights out. They were able to shut the Rockers down, so you want to take advantage if you can here.
That one skips. I think it might have hit off the plate, but it bounces back to the netting. 2-2. Yeah, Randy Lara pitching Tuesday and went solid in that game, and they got a decent outing yesterday from I'm drawing a blank on who the starting pitcher was yesterday.
For
the Bees.
I am too. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. We'll get that for you in a second.
And here is the 2-2 to Mitchell. Swings and fouls this one off.
It was Akil Morris who was starting pitcher yesterday.
Right. Yeah. It was an average start for Akil Morris, I would say. Not spectacular, but again, keeping the team in it and allowing them to be close enough to come from behind in the 9th inning.
Yeah, he did what he needed to do. Did enough.
Here's the 2-2 again to Mitchell, and he takes down low, and the count is now full. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Rockers lead 3-0. Line score 0-3-0 for the Bees, 3-5-0 for High Point. And Rosenboom will deal the full count pitch to Mitchell. Swings and lines this one foul off the netting, and the count stays at 3-2. Good at bat here for Jared Mitchell. That's 7 pitches so far. Really making Rosenboom work as he's approaching 70 pitches. In fact, he's at 69 now, so number 70 coming up. Here is the 3-2, and Mitchell chops this one weakly on the ground towards first. Rogers will kind of half slide and half dive and make the tag with his glove on the base. He had to come in to field it, and he realized his momentum was taking him completely away from the play, so he just kind of put on the brakes and fell towards the base.
Basically had to fall on top of the bag, and he did a good job there of doing so and getting the out. And if you Roseboom, you're 1 out away, but here comes a very tough part of the lineup, but this is the part of the lineup he's had the most trouble with, and these are some of the best hitters in the lineup. You got Hector Gomez, who's gotten on base every time up, a single and a walk. Quincy Lattimore to ground rule double his last time he's on deck. And then, of course, Richie Shaffer with that home run that's still in the air right now.
Here is the first pitch to Gomez, and he's way out in front, 1-0. Or excuse me, 0-1. Rockers trying to grab a little momentum before they head on the road to Sugar Land as Gomez reaches and misses, and the count is 0-2. It was the absolute worst thing you can do for the Rockers right now. You have that little bit of cushion in the wild card, but if you get in too much of a slump and start to give that away, then you start to deal with some extra pressure later on in the season as that one's into Gomez 1-2.
We were talking about it during batting practice, you and I. If the Ducks win, then the Rockers are in pretty good. The Rockers would be in pretty good shape to make it.
The 1-2 hit on the ground to Marino at third, picks it up the long throw to first in time, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for David Roseboom. He worked quickly and worked well here in the fifth. We go to the sixth inning. Joe Van Meter coming back out with a 3-0 lead.
This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Your Life Matters, where we talk about dreaming big and dreaming bold to reach your wildest dreams in both your health and your happiness. A new show comes out every single Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Your Life Matters. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
We've got 10-ounce domestic drafts for just $1 at all concession stands located throughout the concourse.
What's up, everybody? This is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Press Row, where we talk about the biggest issues in sports with the analysts, experts, and reporters who cover them. No nonsense, hard-hitting interviews on the sports topics you're talking about. A new show comes out every single Thursday. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Press Row. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Madeline.
Top of the sixth inning. And it's Ryan Jackson, the number 2 hitter, to face Joe Van Meter. Starts him off with a curveball that stays in. And the count 1-0. Well, with all the talk about standings and playoff positions and everything, looking at the scoreboard across the league right now, York Revolution lead the Skeeters 4-2 in that one, so they're trying to gain a little ground on, or extend their lead, I should say, as that one to Jackson just misses 2-0. Long Island Ducks and the Blue Crabs, no score. The Somerset Patriots, a 1-0 lead on the Barnstormers. Here's the 2-0, and again, Van Meter misses. 3 balls, no strikes now to the leadoff hitter Jackson, the leadoff hitter this inning anyways. But yeah, the Revolution looking to extend their lead on Sugar Land, and that at least would help take them out of the wild card conversation if they end up winning the division. That one in there for a strike. But like you said, we were talking about it during batting practice today. The Rockers are in pretty comfortable position. They just have to watch out for the Bees. Here's the pitch, swung on and hit high in the air to right field. Mitchell coming in towards the foul line now and makes the catch, one away.
Nice play there by Jared Mitchell. Showing off the speed once again, covering a lot of ground to retire Ryan Jackson. Here comes Jason Rogers. We were having a nice laugh in between breaks that I was trying to explain my point, and I was bringing up kind of a lengthy point right during 2 outs with so that was a bold choice by me. So I'll try again here, and then I'll try to condense it. But basically, the York Revolution don't affect what the Rockers are doing here, because let's say that if the Revolution win the second half, then they're in and they're out of the wild card spot. So that's one scenario.
First pitch inside for a ball to Rogers, 1-0.
Second scenario is the Ducks win, okay, the first half. For the Ducks to be...
The 1-0 misses down, 2-0.
So the Ducks win. That opens up a wild card spot. Now, for the Revolution to be in the competition for that wild card spot, that means that the Sugarland Skeeters have won, most likely. And if that's the case, then 2 wild card spots open and the top 2 teams lead.
The 2-0 to Rogers, 3-0. I think if you're Van Meter, you don't give him anything good to hit here. You put him on and deal with the next guy.
So that would put the top 2 teams in. The only way that switches is if the Blue Crabs were able to jump everybody and win the Freedom Division.
The 3-0, he does throw a strike. It's 3 balls, 1 strike now to Rogers.
So now that we're done with all that, we'll get back to the game. That's just something to think about. That was a great pitch by Joe Van Meter because he did exactly what he needed to do. He threw a ball in there that wasn't too good, but it was just enough to get into the strike zone and get that strike.
And the 3-1, that one swung on and popped up out of play, so Van Meter's battled back. It was 3-0. Now it's 3-2. Looked like Rogers was about to work a real quick one-out walk, and all of a sudden, Joe Van Meter's right back in it. Here's the 3-2 to Rogers. It's down low, ball 4. So all that work for Joe Van Meter to come back, and he ends up losing Rogers anyway, so a runner on first base now, and Mike Karp, the hitter.
And he's been red hot tonight, Joe Van Meter, hasn't he, Kendrick? I mean, his stuff has been pretty spectacular all night long, and we're seeing him slow down just a little bit here, and this could be a good opportunity for the Bees to cash in.
Mike Karp 0 for 2, a couple of flyouts today. And Van Meter deals the curveball in there, strike. As there's 1 out here, top of the 6th inning, and the Rockers with a 3-0 lead. As we are in the full clutches of dusk here. It's very pretty sunset and skyline here. Looks very nice. The 0-1. And it catches Mike Karp on the top of the shoe, I believe. It's a hit by pitch. And so Rogers heads down to second, and Karp goes to first here with 1 out.
And just like that, you got 2 guys on now. So a big opportunity for the Bees. They bring the tying run to the plate with 1 out. And like I said, this is the first time we've seen Van Meter get in the spot here where things seem to be getting out of control a tiny bit, but he has plenty of time to jump back in. He's been great tonight, and this is going to be a high-leverage situation for him, but we know he can do it. We've seen him do it before.
Starts off again with the curveball. That's how he's been starting most of the hitters this time through the lineup. It's Jonathan Galvez who swings and misses for strike 1.
We're talking about getting ahead in the count, Kendrick. You do it right there. That's a good-looking strike. You go with something off speed there to kind of get Galvez to think a little bit more. That's a good starting pitch.
And here's the 0-1. He goes back to it a little lower this time. Galvez chases and just nicks it, and it's foul, and the count 0-2.
What a comeback out this would be here for Van Meter. If he could, a strikeout would be great for Van Meter's confidence as well. It would just be his 3rd of the night.
Middle infield looking for that double play ball.
That'd be good too.
Here's the 0-2 to Galvez. Goes with the fastball, breaks his bat. It's a slow roller to third. Gomez only plays to first in time for out number 2 as there's some splintered lumber down the third baseline. But it's out number 2. Runners advance, though, so Rogers is at third. Karp is at second, but now there are 2 away for Jared James.
The bat splinters off, as you said, and that'll move both runners over. Hector Gomez made a great play. He saw the way the bat kind of broke, and he decided, you know what, my play is at first base, and he made a great decision, stuck to it, and went straight to first, got that out. So the Rockers are 1 out away from getting out of the inning, but the Bees have runners in scoring position here in a 3-0 game.
And here's the first pitch to James, and again he starts with the curveball, and again it's in there for a strike. Joe Van Meter looking for the final out here in the 6th inning with a couple guys in scoring position. Here's the pitch, swung on, that's lined into center field, but right at Schroeder's there to make the catch. So the Bees threaten, but Joe Van Meter exterminates the threat.
Nice.
And we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Rockers 3, Bees 0. This is High Point Rockers Baseball.
Host of the Morning Uplift here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back and check out my show, The Morning Uplift, where we talk about finding your beauty in the journey. A new show comes out twice a month on the 1st and 3rd Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Morning Uplift. Thank you again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Congratulations, Aubrey. You are tonight's winner, even after Hype tried to take a shortcut there.
This is Rachel Mullins, host of No Filter Friday, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my new show, No Filter Friday, where we talk about all of the sexual misconduct allegations swirling around Hollywood. A new show drops every Friday at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of No Filter Friday. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Jessica Hammer, co-host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Maddie and I talk about all things pageant related, especially our experiences in the Miss America organization. A new show comes out bi-weekly, every other Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Bottom of the 6th inning, and the first pitch from Roseboom to Quincy Lattimore is roped foul. Hit a long way down the third baseline, count 0-1. Lattimore 1 for 2 today with a 2-run double in his last at-bat. Roseboom deals the 0-1. And that's a strike. So Lattimore quickly down in the count 0-2. Be Lattimore, Shaffer, and Rosa, the 3 scheduled hitters here. The 0-2 is down. No, they're going to ring him up. Strike 3. Looked low from here, but it's strike 3, and down goes Lattimore. So here comes Richie Shaffer, who homered his first at-bat. Put the Rockers on the board and began what is now a 3-0 lead. And the first pitch from Roseboom is ball 1. Both pitchers have worked pretty quickly today. Is a big swing there by Shaffer, and the count now is 1-1. And here's the 1-1 to Shaffer. It's an off-speed pitch away, 2-1. Yeah, really, other than that one rough spot for Roseboom, he's pitched pretty well today in addition to Joe Van Meter pitching a fantastic game.
And this would be a strong finish for him here through 6. I looked at his pitch count just a second ago. It's around...
This is 81.
It's at 80, so...
Shaffer fouls that off, 2-2.
I always say push the envelope, send him out there for one more. Kendrick tends to go on the more correct side and the more conservative side, which is usually right, that this will probably be his last inning here, wouldn't you say?
If he gets out of here quickly, I could see a scenario where he starts the next inning, but I don't see him finishing it. Shaffer, a big swing and a miss, strike 3. So back-to-back strikeouts for Roseboom, but most likely, no, this is probably going to be it.
And what do you think about how much longer we'll see Joe Van Meter? I'll put you on the spot here.
I'm expecting 8 innings, and then they go to the bullpen in the 9th.
That would be quite the bridge by Van Meter. He has 2 more innings to do it. He's been great so far, only allowed 3 hits, no runs.
Rosa's 0 for 2, and he takes first pitch strike on the inner part of the plate, 0-1.
Hitting .238, 35 RBIs, 11 home runs from the Bronx, New York.
Just gets a piece of it and fouls it off, count 0-2. Obviously, Rosa started out red hot when he first joined the team, but for the most part, he's been consistently right around that 240 mark or so this year, a little above, a little below, but he's pretty consistent. You know what you're going to get from him on a nightly basis. And here's the 0-2 to Rosa, and that's away, 1-2. Joe Van Meter is in search of his 8th win this year, which will tie Asher Tolliver for the team lead. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And so David Roseboom strikes out the side in a dominating 6th inning. We go to the 7th. The Rockers still hold a 3-0 lead. This is High Point Rockers Baseball.
Hi, this is Peggy Rojas, host of Viviendo una Vida en Balance here at Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you can come back and check my show, Viviendo una Vida en Balance, where we talk about life hacks to live a life in balance. And this show's in Spanish. A new show comes out every Monday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and share with your friends. Again, thank you for checking out the following broadcast in Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys,
This is Keith.
and Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcasts on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten here on Public House Media. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Rewritten, where we will talk about you having limitless potential and can rewrite your story at any time. No matter your background, your past, or current situation, you can have the type of life you crave. A new show comes out every single Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Rewritten. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the 7th inning, it'll be Collier, Moore, and Moreno. That's 7, 8, 9 for the New Britain Bees. As Joe Van Meter has done a fantastic job scattering 3 hits over 6 innings. Not really getting into any trouble until the last inning, where he had runners on 3rd and 2nd when the 3rd out was retired. Collier 0 for 2 today, shows bunt, pulls back, doesn't matter because it's strike 1.
And we're moving right along here today, and that's credit to 2 great starts from each guy. Even though Rosenboom gave up 3 runs, that's a start that he can look back and be happy about.
Quickly, the 0-1 fouled off, so the count 0-2 now. And nobody in the Bees bullpen, so Roseboom at least looks like he will come out to start the bottom of the 7th.
And I'm sure he wants those runs back, but all in all, you're facing a Rocker team that really needs to win here tonight. Drop 2 to you already.
Curveball swing and a miss, strike 3. So good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Joe Van Meter. One away here in the inning brings up Logan Moore, the catcher, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Van Meter just at 79 pitches right now. And here's the pitch to Moore. That's in there, strike 1. Yeah, I think Van Meter's a guy that can give you 100 to 105 pitches, so I think 8 innings is easily an option right now.
That's true, and like we're saying, that would be so helpful because
0-1 is up and away, 1-1. Oh, no, it's called strike.
It would save that bullpen for that trip to Texas. So you'd have a full-strength bullpen when guys may not be feeling full strength as they have to travel so far in such a short amount of time.
Van Meter comes set. Here's the pitch. Another curveball. This one weakly fouled off. It hit off of the edge of the awning over the concourse and bounced back onto the netting and into the stands. Count 0-2. I'll tell you what, the ABS system is making me look stupid when I call things before the umpire makes a call.
Well, you just have to wait.
Here's the 0-2. It's a curveball trying to get Moore to chase. And he did not, so the count is, I believe, 1-2. 2-2, excuse me.
ABS does make keeping up with the count a little bit more difficult as well.
That one swung on a hit a long way into center field, but Schroeder is there, makes the catch for out number 2.
None of these outfield plays are, eye-popping to everyone. They're not going to make it on SportsCenter tonight, but they're really difficult plays, and they're making them look easy. That one just... The amount of ground, look she's still walking. Look at where he's starting. He has to go all the way across. He's going over near the Van York Auto Group sign when he finishes.
Joe Van Meter's curveball to Rando Moreno misses for ball 1.
There's a lot of guys in this Rocker outfield who can cover a lot of ground.
This one is ripped foul down the first base side. Moreno hit that one hard. Count 1-1. He tripled his last at-bat. You'll remember Jared Mitchell in right field diving but couldn't quite make the catch. Here's the 1-1. It's an off-speed pitch, and Moreno out in front just gets a piece of it. And so the count 1-2. That happened with 2 strikes the last time Moreno came up. So this time, Van Meter looking to see if he can put him away.
Not only has Van Meter been really good tonight, he looks confident. In every pitch he's throwing, he's making good decisions, putting them in perfect places.
The 1-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. So 2 strikeouts this inning for Joe Van Meter, and he hangs up his 7th straight 0 as it is stretch time here at the point. Rockers lead 3-0.
This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, The Cheap Seats, where we talk about sports from the fans' perspective. A new show comes out every Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Cheap Seats. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Kim Meyer, the host of Choose to Rise here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Choose to Rise, where we talk about living with positive mindsets, how to increase our confidence, building our faith, and living out our life on purpose. A new show comes out via podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you want to catch the episode live instead, stop by Public House Media around 6:45 Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Choose to Rise. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay.
And this is Elizabeth,
co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Your Life Matters, where we talk.
Michael Russell steps in to lead off in the bottom of the 7th against David Roseboom. First pitch to Russell is a fastball strike at the knees. Russell, Schroeder, and Jones as there's a right-hander up in the bullpen for the New Britain Bees. Here's the 0-1 to Russell, and it is down low, 1-1 now. Rockers' bullpen does look empty at the moment. You can see better than I do. I can, though. Is there anybody up in the Rockers' pen?
Rocker? No. Nobody's
it looked empty. I wasn't 100% sure.
No, there's some Bees action going on. I can't tell you who it is.
Yeah,
but
I just mentioned a righty in there.
Yeah, no Rocker action just yet.
Here's the 1-1 to Russell. That's going to miss the zone down and in. So 2-1 now. Rockers lead 3-0. We're in the bottom of the 7th. And here is the pitch, the 2-1 to Russell. And it's inside, 3-1. You mentioned, I think it was in the postgame show yesterday, the Rockers have been stuck at 65
wins
for a while. And, they won their 65th game back on Saturday. It's been almost a week at this point.
Right, wow. And it's a little bit longer because you get that day off, but still.
Here's the 3-1. Russell hits this one on the ground to third. Marino picks it up. And the throw on to first, a little bit towards the outfield side, but the catch is made there by Rogers for out number 1.
That was a good swing, and it came off the bat looking good by Russell. It just was hit right towards the New Britain Bees defense once again tonight. And after, the Rockers struck first early in the inning and early in the game, and on a bright day when players have talked about how sometimes being a bright day can kind of make it tougher to hit.
Schroeder swings, hits this one on the ground to Marino, backhands it near the line. The throw on to first is a good one, and that's 2 quick outs here in the 7th inning for Roseboom.
But the Rocker hitting was sharp early, and it's been enough. And we were at batting practice today, and we're seeing a lot of Rocker hitting. And not just the Rockers. We got to see some BP being taken by Frank Nigro's brother who's in town. And he had a nice bat on him, his younger brother. He had some good hits.
Yeah, put some good swings out there in batting practice. And they weren't just tossing him soft ones either.
Absolutely
they were throwing
not.
him some hard pitches. Here's Matt Jones, who's 0 for 2 today. He's grounded out to third both times. Roseboom would love to get through the 7th here at 91 pitches currently. And here is the first pitch to Jones. Looks like he took a little bit off of it. It's in there for a strike around the knees. And they count 0-1. This one a fastball. Jones can't catch up to it. Count now 0-2. 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Roseboom has retired 9 Rockers in a row since Miles Schroeder's single back in the 4th inning. And here is the 0-2 to Jones. That's down low. He takes as that one skips away from Logan Moore, so the count 1-2. High Point, I don't think I ever mentioned, is wearing their camo jerseys tonight. The New Britain Bees, the gray pants, the black jerseys with the yellow NB on the left chest.
They've been rocking those all week.
Yeah, good-looking jerseys. They're sharp. Jones pops this one up and out of play down the first base side. Right fielder Collier trotted over towards the line, but ends up giving up the ghost early. Again, the Rockers on the road this weekend against the Sugarland Skeeters. They return home Monday, and next half inning we'll tell you a little bit about the promotions. I don't want to do that with 2 outs.
That'd be a bold move.
It would.
And 2 strikes.
But, that's coming up at the top of the 8th inning. We'll take a look at the great things going on in the next homestand that's next week. Only 10 home games remain
after tonight
in the regular season.
How about Roseboom, excuse me. He's a strike away from getting through 7. And after those second and third innings, that's pretty good.
It's been a quality start for him as Jones pops this a mile high, and it's going to drift up and out of play behind the plate, so the count's still 2-2. Yeah, we talk about Joe Van Meter scattering the 3 hits for the New Britain Bees. The Rockers only have 5 today. They've been pretty neutralized by Roseboom, although the Bees have not been able to crack Van Meter at all. Here's the 2-2, and that is strike 3. They're going to ring up Matt Jones looking. So if that's the end of the night for Roseboom, which I think it is, he ends it by retiring 10 straight Rockers. We go to the top of the 8th inning. It's 3-0 High Point. This is High Point Rockers baseball.
Host of Viviendo una Vida en Balance here at Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you can come back and check my show, Viviendo una Vida en Balance, where we talk about life hacks to live a life in balance. And this show's in Spanish. A new show comes out every Monday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and share with your friends. Again, thank you for checking out the following broadcast in Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys,
This is Keith.
and Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcasts on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten here on Public House Media. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Rewritten, where we will talk about you having limitless potential and can rewrite your story at any time. No matter your background, your past, or current situation, you can have the type of life you crave. A new show comes out every single Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Rewritten. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, The Cheap Seats, where we talk about sports from the fans' perspective. A new show comes out every Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Cheap Seats. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the 8th inning, Joe Van Meter going to deal with the top of the lineup. Darren Ford 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts so far. And the first pitch fastball from Van Meter just misses for a ball. He started everybody off with the curveball the last time through. He's going back to the fastball here in the 8th inning. Pitch number 90 is a high fastball that Ford fouls back, and they count 1-1. I wanted to take a look at the promotional calendar coming up for the Rockers' next homestand. Monday, September 2nd. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Labor Appreciation Night, also Merchandise Monday. On Tuesday, next Tuesday, it's Taco Tuesday and Toucan Tuesday. So specialty tacos, and you can bring in 2 cans of food, receive $2 off a ticket, as this one's fouled off the bat of Darren Ford. And Wednesday, September 4th, Cheapskate Night. We don't have a whole lot of information on that yet, but I'm looking forward to Thursday, September 5th. In addition to Dollar Beer Night, it is 90s Night, and I'm just super excited to see what kind of cool promotions they have. I'm sure there'll be 90s music, and I think that's going to be a fun night.
Should be a good one.
The 1-1 from Van Meter, the 1-2, excuse me, swing and a miss, strike 3. Joe Van Meter, back-to-back strikeouts going back to last inning. And that's the third strikeout for Darren Ford as Ryan Jackson comes up now.
And when you got guys walking away like that, you know that you got good stuff. Ford was a little frustrated with himself because that one just kind of fooled him. And
first pitch to Jackson is a strike at the top of the zone, count 0-1.
3 strikeouts on the day for Ford, and only 5 in the game for Van Meter. So he's had a lot of success against Ford today.
0-1 is another fastball. This one just missing. A good miss there from Van Meter in the count 1-1. He's working quickly. Another fastball. This one on the outer part of the plate. That's a strike in the count 1-2. Van Meter, big reason why the Rockers might be about to snap that 3-game skid. As he steps off here.
I talked about having a moment. Van Meter is having his moment. This is one of his best starts, if not his best start. This has been outstanding to watch.
Here's the 1-2 to Jackson. Curveball. He's late on it and fouls it out of play. I was about to say, can he have 8 innings worth of moments?
Yeah, I mean,
is that how this works?
Yeah, the whole thing has been a moment. You not just one inning. Like when Ryan Kelly, it was his save, which just happens in an inning. That's the way he works. But he's had a great night, and this whole night can be momentum for Van Meter.
Here's the pitch. This one is roped into right field. That'll get down for a base hit. So a 1-out single here in the 8th inning on a hard hit liner off the bat of Ryan Jackson. We'll see if that gets any action going in the Rockers' pin, as that's the 4th hit tonight for the Bees. Brings up Jason Rogers, who has reached base his last 2 times up.
And I think we've even seen Van Meter with a guy at the plate with 2 guys on second and third, guys in scoring position here tonight, and Van Meter's been able to get out of that. So 1 guy on, not the end of the world. I think they're going to try to let Van Meter finish here.
I just saw Frank Viola mention to get a left-hander up. He did say for somebody to get up and start throwing as the first pitch to Rogers in there for a strike. And it has nothing to do with the way that he's pitched, but this next pitch is number 99 for Joe Van Meter. So,
right. It's late in the game.
The 0-1, this one is swung on and chopped weakly foul down the third base side. And so the count is 0-2. Yeah, I think he finishes the 8th inning here as long as he doesn't get into a whole lot of trouble. And at that point, you pat him on the back and say, fantastic job today, and let the bullpen take care of the rest.
I agree with you here. And a ground ball would be picture perfect. That gets you out of the inning here.
Here's an 0-2 to Rogers. Fastball. Strike 3, they're going to ring up Rogers looking on that one. A perfect pitch on the knees. I tell you what, he may be up at 100 pitches now, but I think Joe Van Meter has gotten stronger as the game has gone on. The last 2 innings, he has struck out 4 combined hitters.
Well, if you look at the way he started, we talked about it, he was playing for contact, pitching for contact, and, it was working for him, so you can't criticize it because it was working for him, and he looked great. He had great pitches, and all the contact was really small, manageable stuff, and now he's getting the strikeouts working too late in the game. It's been a great combination. What a great night for Joe.
First pitch to Mike Karp. He goes to the curveball, and it's a strike, 0-1. Karp is 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch his last time. Runner on first base is Jackson. Runner goes. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball. The good throw down to second. I think they got him. They did. Matt Jones throws out Ryan Jackson trying to steal second. And if that's the end of the night for Joe Van Meter, he is going to walk off. You see people standing in the crowd giving an ovation both to Matt Jones and Joe Van Meter. 8 shutout innings for Joe. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Rockers lead 3-0. This is High Point Rockers baseball.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey, guys.
This is Keith
and Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcasts on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten here on Public House Media. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Rewritten, where we will talk about you having limitless potential and can rewrite your story at any time. No matter your background, your past, or current situation, you can have the type of life you crave. A new show comes out every single Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Rewritten. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, The Cheap Seats, where we talk about sports from the fans' perspective. A new show comes out every Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Cheap Seats. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Kim Meyer, the host of Choose to Rise here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Choose to Rise, where we talk about living with positive mindsets, how to increase our confidence, building our faith, and living out our life on purpose. A new show comes out via podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you want to catch the episode live instead, stop by.
Well, it's the bottom of the 8th inning, but the High Point Rockers have the top of the lineup here. Steven Cardulo, Jared Mitchell, Hector Gomez against the new pitcher, Sammy Gervasio, who's 4-5, 4.31 ERA, 54 innings, 41 Ks in his second year with the Bees. First pitch to Cardulo, a check swing foul down the first base side. Kedrick Fruits, Kevin McMahon here with you as we're thrilled to be here for yet another High Point Rockers game, a game in which the Rockers have a 3-0 lead here, taking what they hope are their final cuts of the night. Here's the 0-1. Cardulo rips this one on the ground to short. Jackson picks it up. The throw on to first in time to get the speedy Cardulo out number one.
And Gervasio has looked good. He looked good when we saw him on Friday night. The Rockers have had some success against him here at BB&T Point, but
Tuesday night, I think.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I keep thinking
it's the weekend.
I keep thinking it's like a Sunday or Saturday night game. I don't know why. You're right on Tuesday night, and he's looked good recently.
Jared Mitchell 0 for 2 with a walk and a run, takes first pitch outside for a ball.
He's got a unique windup and a unique approach, and he makes life very difficult for a hitter, especially when you have to adjust from seeing somebody for the first 7 innings.
Mitchell pops this one a mile high in foul territory. The catcher, Logan Moore, circling under, twisting and winding his way down the first baseline, finally makes the catch for out number 2. So Gervasio quickly with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Good line for Roseboom today. 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs all earned, a home run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Really did a nice job against the Rockers hitters today. Settled down to retire the final 10 men that he faced. Here's Hector Gomez. And he will take a first pitch strike. Gomez, 1 for 2, has also walked. Taking a look around the league, some interesting things to report.
Talk to me.
Here's the 0-1. That's down and away. Revolution, a 6-4 lead on the Skeeters. Barnstormers, a 2-1 lead on the Patriots, but the Blue Crabs with a 1-0 lead over the Long Island Ducks right now.
They won yesterday, too.
They did, 11-5 yesterday as Gomez breaks his bat. This one's going to be a little soft line drive into right field that'll get down for a base hit. Sometimes you just get lucky, and Hector Gomez just doing enough there to poke that one over Jason Rogers' head with the broken bat single.
Nothing like a broken bat single to reach here with 2 outs, and that breaks up the success that Gervasio was having. He was at 7 pitches up until that point. So now Gervasio's going to do something I'm sure he didn't want to do. And he's going to have to pitch to Quincy Lattimore now.
So let me ask you this. So we're looking at the Southern Maryland game. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Okay.
1-0 Southern Maryland. Could you guess who the Southern Maryland pitcher is? As a swing and a miss there. Or no, he didn't swing. It's ball 1.
I want to guess Dean Green because that would be awesome. But I want to say Matt Latos.
No, you could guess the best pitcher in the league, though, as that one misses for a ball 2-0.
I'm blanking here.
Daryl Thompson.
Oh, another complete start for Daryl Thompson,
so
baby.
So far, he's in the 8th inning right now. It's 75 pitches in the 8th inning.
The night he had against the Rockers, he was untouchable.
The 2-0, and Lattimore lines this one over the outstretched glove of the third baseman, Marino. That'll get down in the left field corner. Gomez on his horse. The throw's going to come into second, though, where Lattimore slides in. Safe! It's a 2-out double for Lattimore. Gomez goes to third, and the Rockers in business in the 8th inning.
What a great choice by Quincy Lattimore. He goes to second. A little bit of a gamble there, the throw in, but it's not in time as Lattimore gets in, slides in, shows off the athleticism, shows off the hustle, and makes it in safe. I'm giving the man a double on that.
Absolutely. It's a double for Quincy Lattimore, and the Rockers trying to extend a little bit into that 3-0 lead. Richie Shaffer, who's got a home run already today, steps into the plate.
And how about that all happening with 2 outs? Runners in scoring position for Richie Shaffer.
Here's the pitch. Shaffer will take there for a ball. That one just off the plate, 1-0. If one of these runs scores, it will no longer be a save situation. I think you said you saw Paul Clemens down there in the bullpen.
That's right.
Here's the 1-0, and that's going to miss away. 2 balls, no strikes. Gervasio. So far, the line of business is don't give Shaffer anything over the heart of the plate, which I would say is a pretty good scouting report.
If you walk Clemens here, or if you walk Shaffer here, it's not the end of the world.
Here's the pitch to Shaffer, and that's a strike on the inner part of the plate. Vio Sergi Rosa, the designated hitter, waits on deck. Gervasio comes set. Here's the 2-1. And that's going to miss away. 3 balls and a strike now, so Richie Shaffer is sitting pretty in the driver's seat. He can be very selective on this pitch, and if it's not anything that he's interested in, you sure don't have to swing. Here is the 3-1, and that's a strike that Shaffer felt maybe he couldn't do a whole lot with. And the count is now full. Gomez takes his lead off of third. Lattimore takes his lead off of second. And here's the pitch. Swings, hits this one on the ground toward short. Jackson with the backhand. He's got to throw to third. They've got Lattimore in a rundown. He is out. I think Gomez's run is going to count because I believe he crossed the plate first. They're trying to argue and decide whether or not the run will count. And they're going to say it does. So the run will score. Quincy Lattimore gets in the rundown just long enough as the manager's coming out to have a quick word with the home plate umpire. So we're going to hold it here just for a moment. But as it stands, Hector Gomez will score. And the Rockers have a 4-0 lead.
And I think they're saying because Gomez changed direction, because Lattimore changed direction and was moving around long enough to not get tagged, Gomez had touch for 2-3 seconds, and that's going to be enough. Gervasio and Goose are out there, and they are advocating for this run to be taken off the board. We saw the Bees score 3 runs in the 9th inning yesterday, so it's very possible to do it. But 4 would be tough. A grand slam would only tie the game.
And they're going to keep it here with the run counting as Gomez did cross the plate first.
And they're giving Goose a lot of leash here. But you know what? All week long, there's been some calls that have been argued, and they've given everybody a lot of time to get their points in.
Absolutely. As you see, he's starting to look a little more animated now. And
now a couple guys are getting into it. Carp's going as well.
A couple words in. But you're absolutely right. It's going to be a 4-run lead here, so not a save situation for the new Rockers pitcher, Paul Clemens. Since he's about halfway through his warm-ups, we'll keep it here, Kevin, as we get set for the top of the 9th inning.
I'm still focused on what Goose is going on here because he's still talking to him.
Well, while you keep an eye on that, I'm going to give the numbers on Paul Clemens this year. He comes in a 2-2 record, 4.97 ERA, 21 strikeouts in 25 innings.
And Goose went back into the dugout, but Not because the conversation has stopped. I think he decided that, you know what, we got to keep going here. But I think this has a situation where if the game goes on for a little bit longer and a call happens again, they're going to get some feedback from the Bees dugout. I think they're alert now, and now that they haven't been all night, but they're going to be paying a lot of attention to the umpires tonight for the rest of the evening so far. It's Paul Clemens here for the High Point Rockers. I'm very excited for Paul Clemens to come out here and try to close the door in a big moment. You can hear the crowd buzzing, clapping for Clemens here as they know the Rockers are 3 outs away from what would be a huge win against the Bees.
Mike Karp steps in, first hitter of the inning. It'll be Karp, Galvez, and James. And Clemens kicks and deals. First pitch is a called strike. How about the final line on Joe Van Meter?
What a
8 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Lowers his ERA to 2.57. He is in line for his 8th win of the year, which would tie Asher Tolliver for the team lead. A swing and a miss there for Karp, and he's quickly down 0-2.
A great night for him. And how about Clemens? He's jumped out here with 2 strikes already, 0-2.
He kicks and deals. Off-speed pitch got him to chase. Strike 3. Jones picks it up. The throw on to first in time. So Paul Clemens retires Mike Karp on 3 pitches. Makes him look silly on that last one. And now Jonathan Galvez will come up with 1 out of the 9th inning.
Clemens has had some great outings. His last 2 outings have been outstanding. If he could finish it up with a 3rd here, that would be a huge confidence booster for him. And, he can continue his success. The Rockers need this win, and there's a lot of things to be happy about if this one goes final this way.
Van Meter Clemens deals, fires the fastball down low.
And for 8 innings, if you said Van Meter deals, you were correct. That's how long he was in this game.
The point is, it doesn't matter who's out there for the Rockers. They're getting the results right now.
That's right.
Here's the 1-0 from Clemens to Galvez. This one's chopped on the ground towards third. That one ate up Hector Gomez. It's a fair ball. It took a high hop over his glove, and Galvez will head into second base with an easy double.
Here's the thing on turf. That ball takes 2 or 3 bounces before it gets to you, and it's speeding up each time it takes a bounce. So by the time it gets to Hector Gomez, that thing is moving, and it got right past him, and he was unable to make something happen, and he's made some great plays tonight. So credit to Hector Gomez, who was almost there, and Galvez, you got to give him credit. Nice hit there, gets him on, a 1-out double.
Brings up Jared James. Looking back at the Southern Maryland Long Island game, they go to the 9th inning. Thompson at 89 pitches through 8 innings, so I think they'll see him for the 9th. Joe Iorio gave up 1 run in 7 innings for the Ducks. He pitched almost as well, as Clemens deals a fastball down and in ball 1 to Jared James.
Think about all the guys on the Ducks roster, man. They're a good team, and I wouldn't want to see the Blue Crabs right now. They are heating up here in the second half.
Well, that's who's coming into town in High Point on Thursday. This one's hit on the ground to Shaffer onto first in time for out number 2 as the runner advances over to third. That's Jonathan Galvez. So Hector Gomez makes the play there, out number 2. I said Thursday. The Blue Crabs coming into town on Monday for a 4-game series.
That was great communication by Hector Gomez there. He makes it throw over to first. Shaffer was thinking, maybe I should pop it back over to third and try to get that double play. He put his hands up and said, just hold it. We're not going to get him. We don't want to throw it away. Here's the other thing. This would have been the point anyway, but especially with that last run that came in by Hector Gomez, if you give up 1 here, it's not the end of the world.
Zach Collier takes first pitch for ball 1. The Rockers 1 out away from a dominant 4-0 victory, salvaging the final game of a 3-game set where they lost the first 2 in frustrating fashion. On Tuesday, they came back within 1 a couple of times and weren't able to pull it off. This one's inside to Collier, 2-0. And then yesterday, the Rockers take a lead into the 9th inning, but a 3-run home run by Jason Rogers in the top of the 9th gave the Bees a come-from-behind win. Today, the Rockers lead 4-0, and the Bees are down to their final out once again. Rockers looking to write a different ending tonight. Here is the 2-0 from Clemens. This one is popped up and out of play. And the count 2-1. The runner at third base, Jonathan Galvez. He had a solid night, one of the best offensive nights considering the fact they only have 5 hits. Galvez has 2 of them. Rockers head on the road for a 3-game set with the Skeeters, and then they're back home. We want to mention Monday's start time is a 4 o'clock first pitch, so we'll be on the air just a touch before 4. Here's the 2-1, swung on and fouled out of play, and the count 2-2.
And that is Labor Day, correct, on Monday?
Yes, Labor Day. Slightly, would you call that early evening or late afternoon? I'm going to say late afternoon.
I call that an afternoon delight. That's what I call that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully the Rockers will be delighting the fans with a good weekend series and riding a little momentum coming into the Southern Maryland series.
Clemens 1 strike away from helping the Rockers get a win in his 3rd outstanding outing.
Clemens comes set. Here's the 2-2. That's inside, and the count goes full now to Collier.
And Clemens could kind of feel what I just said. He could feel that, this would be great momentum for him, great momentum for the team, a huge win. That's what I think that one came in so hot.
And if Collier's able to reach Logan Moore, the catcher, will be the next hitter. Left-handed hitter, back-to-back left-handed hitters. Here's the 3-2. That's a fastball that sails up over the top of the zone. So that's a walk here with 2 outs in the inning. The tying run is on deck now, which would be Rando Moreno, but first they got to deal with the catcher, Logan Moore. Moore hit a home run yesterday and had 2 hits the days before. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. He's got power. He has 11 home runs this year, so certainly a guy you have to be careful with. Clemens comes set. Now time is called. I think they're switching first base coaches possibly as Ozzie Martinez comes out.
That's exactly what's going on there as Bijan Rademacher heads to the bench, and he went down the tunnel. So we got Moore here. So I think that tells me that.
It tells me that if Moore gets on, they're going to run Martinez. Here's the pitch. And that misses for a ball. You're going to go with speed and put Ozzie Martinez on the bases if Logan Moore gets on.
But then why would Rademacher leave? Maybe that means I was thinking maybe that means Rademacher's going to come in and hit.
I think he's either going to be a pinch hitter or I think that's an option for sure. Moore swings and drives this one way out of here, right field off of the screen or off of the video board, a 3-run blast. And just like that, there goes the shutout with a 3-run monster, and it's a 1-run game here in the 9th.
And you can hear the silence here in BB&T Point. Logan Moore, a huge 3-run home run.
Now, how big is Hector Gomez's run now?
It's massive because it would be a tie ball game. Yeah, that may not sit very well with the bees now when they think about all that, and I don't think we're done hearing about that, especially if the game goes final here. If you're Clemens, obviously not what you wanted to have happen, but you're still 1 out away from getting a big stop, and here comes Rademacher. That was the switch.
Yeah, Bijan Rademacher coming in to pinch hit, and you don't need a pinch runner when your hitter blasts one like that. You talk about how big the home run was that Richie Shaffer hit earlier. This one was gone the moment it left the bat. All right, so here is a left-handed hitting Bijan Rademacher, a 3rd straight left-handed hitter to face Paul Clemens. And all of a sudden, everybody's a little more nervous. They know what's happened here the last couple of days. At least the bases are empty now. And Clemens still 1 out away from giving the Rockers a much-needed victory. Here's the pitch to Rademacher, a big swing and a miss, strike 1. For Logan Moore, his 12th home run and his 54th RBI, 52, 53, and 54. Clemens looks in, gets the sign from Jones, comes set. And here's the 0-1 curveball. Good-looking pitch. Doesn't get the call, though, 1-1.
It's kind of a tough assignment, Kendrick, to get pulled off the, base coach. Get pulled off the bench there, get pulled off the base coach role. And be called on. And, of course, you got to be ready to go at all times, and Rademacher's a pro, but it's a tough order.
Rademacher, a big swing and a miss there, and the Bees are down to their final strike. I have a feeling he was maybe taking some swings in the top half or the bottom half of the last inning.
He knew it was coming.
So once again, Paul Clemens, one strike away from getting the Rockers a much-needed victory. The Bees one strike away from dropping the series finale as they've been trying for the sweep, but the Rockers have a one-run lead here in the ninth. Here's the 1-2. Clemens steps off now.
Your heart's beating fast. This is what it's all about. The Rockers one strike away. The Bees one run away. They scored 3 runs in this half inning. The second time in 2 days that they've scored 3 runs in a ninth inning.
Clemens kicks, deals. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 on the curveball. Paul Clemens bends but does not break in the ninth inning. And the High Point Rockers a much-needed 4-3 victory. They lose the series, but they take the series finale as they go to Sugar Land with win number 66 in their pocket.
And what a huge win for the High Point Rockers. Paul Clemens, like you said, perfectly bending but not breaking. And as I think that was Gravascio who had to be held back there as the umpires went back to the tunnel there. So that's the way they have to leave. And the Bees obviously wanted to have a talk about that last play where Hector Gomez scored. That's the difference. But got to give credit to Paul Clemens. He had that 3-run home run just come because of him. But he's able to hold on. And you know what? That's credit to him. That's maturity. That's toughness to say, you know what? Next batter up. Got to go next at-bat mentality and get this win. And he did it. And he has a big hug with the manager, Jamie Keefe, right there. That's a big moment for Paul Clemens. And you can tell he was happy to have that one. And it all got helped. It all got set up by Joe Van Meter. What a night for him.
Yeah, 8 innings for Joe Van Meter, scattering 4 hits during his outing and just absolutely blanking the New Britain Bees. Only allowed a handful of base runners, walked 2, struck out 6, including 4 strikeouts in his final 2 innings of work. So he really looked like he got stronger as the night went on, and just absolutely a fantastic night for him. The offense got going early thanks to a solo home run from Richie Shaffer in the second inning. 1 inning later, a 2-run double for Quincy Lattimore. And guess what? There were 2 outs. 2 runs came across to score. Rockers take a 3-0 lead. Fast forward through some dominant innings of pitching for both Roseboom and Joe Van Meter to the 8th inning. Quincy Lattimore, again, guess what? There were 2 outs. Hit this one, a double. Didn't score a run, but it moved Hector Gomez over to third, and then Richie Shaffer chopped one over towards shortstop, towards Jackson, and they didn't have a chance to get Hector Gomez at the plate, but Lattimore in a rundown long enough to run. And that ended up making all the difference in the world. Is in the top of the 9th inning with 2 guys on. Logan Moore absolutely clubbed a home run into right field to make it 4-3. But heads up play for Lattimore, knowing that he needed to buy just that split second more time to let Gomez cross the plate.
It's got to be, right? That's the play of the game. Hector Gomez, a huge play right there. The difference in this one, that's why the Bees wanted to have a little conversation about that one. Rockers win 4-3. You want my player of the game? I'll give it to you right here. It's an obvious choice, but it's got to be Joe Van Meter. His start of the season, especially at home. I talked about in the pregame how tonight felt like a moment that could be taken by the High Point Rockers, a chance to get big momentum on your side. Take advantage here if you are the High Point Rockers. They avoid being swept by the New Britain Bees, and they head into Sugarland with a full bullpen, and they feel good. I know they got a long night of travel ahead of them, but they're going to be a little bit happier on that trip now with a big-time win. And that is a big deal. And that's a big deal for the High Point Rockers as they win 4-3. And that's big. That's huge.
Absolutely. The Rockers heading down to Sugar Land for a 3-game series. We'll return Monday for a 4 o'clock start. So, Kevin, final thoughts here on the series, on the game, on the upcoming road trip.
Rockers did what they needed to do. Joe Van Meter, you were absolutely flawless tonight. What a great outing by him. This is what they needed to do. And then they got some high-impact stuff offensively early, which was going to help them. As you said, that Richie Shaffer home run was phenomenal. The Quincy Lattimore ground roll double. The Rockers did what they needed to do. And then in the 9th inning, Paul Clemens, he's had 2 great starts in a row, or 2 great outings in a row. He comes in, gets that 3-run home run. But I saw a lot from Paul Clemens there, because you can hang your head and you can continue to blow it. He didn't. He comes through in a big spot, shows a lot of toughness, and helps the Rockers get the win. A gritty performance by Paul Clemens. A lot to be happy about as the Rockers have a quick road trip. Then they come back, and we got Rocker baseball on Labor Day, baby. What more do you want? Rockers beat the Bees. We can't say it enough. A really big win.
Absolutely. And wrapping up the final thing statistically, Joe Van Meter picks up win number 8 on the year. Rose Boom is the loser, drops to 2-2. The Rockers keep adding a little cushion to their wild card lead, and they're putting a little pressure on the Ducks, who are 2 outs in the 9th inning with a runner on first base. So Darryl Thompson 1 out away from a complete game shutout in that one. But that's all the time we have for tonight. Rockers win by a final of 4-3. They salvaged 1 game of this 3-game set. We'll see you back here on Monday, 4 o'clock first pitch. We'll go on the air about 3:45. For Kevin McMahon and our fantastic crew down the line in the control room, I'm Kendrick Fruits. Rockers win 4-3. Have a great Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you for more Rockers baseball on Monday. Good night.